Chinese pizza. It's Italian, not Chinese. It's Italian.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon there, Winnipeg. You're listening to the Comedeorological Report, comedy plus meteorology, Comedeorology. That's how you say it, Comedeorology. It's the thing that basically Frankie and I invented last year, and we got our whole panel of Comedeorologists here. Frankie, MacDonald, in Sidney, Nova Scotia. Brandon and Houck right now over in Brooks, Alberta. Imogen Cookie Bailey, also known as Count Chocula, in Victoria City. Joe Stover is in Winnipeg right now, our good buddy. Hey, it's the Comedeorological Report. So what we do is we talk about weather stories that have gone on this week in Canada and maybe around the world and maybe other things too. And we try to be as funny as we can, or at least, well, maybe we don't have to try that hard. We're just weird people. So that's kind of what you get for the show. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. The show airs on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., and repeats at 4 o'clock on Tuesdays. And we got Peter Galanko joining us as well from Virginia Beach, just coming in the studio. And then we air on Winnipeg on CKUW 95.9 FM on Monday. So we're recording the show on Thursday, the 10th of February. And then it will be the 12th of February that you hear it in Prince George. And then just so everything's in context with what we're talking about, you might be a few days behind there, Winnipeg, when you hear us on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, Comedeorologists. Happy Valentine's Day to all you meteorology students at the University of Winnipeg. We love all meteorology students. Unless you do something really bad, then maybe we'll stop loving you. But for now, we're totally your show.
Frankie, the weatherman. Frankie, the weatherman. Who? Frankie. Who? Frankie. Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie.
Without much further ado, we'll get right to it, and we'll talk about weather across the country, across the world. Here's the segment where we join Frankie MacDonald, the world-famous weatherman with 275,000 subscribers on his YouTube. He's out in Sidney, Nova Scotia, and he's fantastic. He's doing good so far. How you doing, Frankie?
I'm doing great so far. Then it got extremely cold here, heading all the way down to Florida and Georgia. This Sunday coming up, it's going to bring really cold temperatures in New York City, Boston, because a bit of really cold weather is going all the way down to Atlanta and all these places. In Tennessee, Kentucky, and all these places, California is going to be extremely hot, cause a lot of state anyways, triggering a lot of fires. It's going to bring extremely cold weather in Manitoba, and Northern Ontario is going to bring the Alberta Clipper on Friday. It's going to Alberta Clipper is going to head towards Chicoutimi, Quebec, and all these places. It's going to be warmer than average temperatures in Vancouver, British Columbia, and all these and surrounding areas. People in Vancouver, you can't escape from major earthquakes forever. And places in Mexico, they're getting really hot weather in Mexico too, except for inland. And Cuba's getting really humid weather down in Cuba and Island St. Martin and all these places as well. In South America, they're bringing a lot of rain all across Amazon rainforest, Venezuela, Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, and all these places. Northern Chile is desert like heat there is right now, causing a lot of thunderstorms and things like that. Over in Europe, they're bringing a lot of cold weather in England too as well. In Norway, Finland, Sweden, Russia, they're bringing cold weather. In France, northern Italy, they just had an earthquake there. In Germany, it's getting cold weather. In Poland, with chance of flurries and showers. In Denmark and Netherlands and all these places, chance of more cold weather headed for Turkey sometime next week. Up in the mountains in Turkey and Syria and all these places. And all across Japan and all these places. Japan, in the Western Pacific, there's a lot of systems heading for Tokyo and things like that, causing a lot of snow in Western Japan. It's going to bring really cold weather in Japan as well. Even South Korea, North Korea, 5 yards South Russia. Storms go intensify off the coast of Japan. It's headed towards southwestern Alaska Islands and Magadan, Russia, and all these places. They're bringing a lot of wind too. They're bringing a lot of thunderstorms in Philippines, Indonesia, Congo, DR Congo, Uganda, and Zimbabwe and all these places. A lot of rain all across Botswana, South Africa, Madagascar. There's a possible tropical cyclone headed for north of Madagascar. sometime next week in the end of February to cause a lot of thunderstorms in Uganda, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and all these countries. As of right now, down Australia and New Zealand, and there's another bad cyclone aiming it towards New Zealand this Sunday coming. And Australia is really, really hot and dry. They usually get hail in October, November in Australia because this is their summer right now. It's extremely hot in Northern Territory, Australia. In Sydney, Australia is bringing chance of showers and things like that. Most hailstorms happen in southeastern Australia. That's in September, October, November. That's their spring of the year.
What an excellent weather report, Frankie. You just covered the whole globe like nothing.
I got something to say. The International Space Station is going to crash in the Earth in 2031. The last crew goes on the International Space Station. That will be September 2030. Before that, the last cargo goes on the International Space Station starting 2024. Year by year, there will be disconnecting one thing at a time of the International Space Station.
I forgot to introduce myself at the start of the show. My name is Joey Olney. I'm in a logging camp 200 kilometers west of Quesnel out in the Chilcotin Plateau. That's who I am. So I'm with Brandon Houck in Brooks, Alberta, Imogen Cookie Bailey down in Victoria, Frankie MacDonald over in Sidney, Nova Scotia, Joe Stover in Winnipeg, Peter Galanko down in Virginia Beach. And I want to allow you Comedeorologists to ask Frankie some questions. That's something I want to do more, is be like, anyone got questions for Frankie? So it sounds like Imogen certainly does.
Yeah, did I hear that right, Frankie? The International Space Station is going to crash into the Earth?
In 2031, in somewhere in an isolated place in the Pacific Ocean, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, that's NASA's plans.
Sweet! That is awesome! You think they'll be able to peg a shark?
The last astronauts go up in the International Space Station. That'll be September 2030.
So when it hits the ocean, what's the chance of it causing like a massive shark-infested tidal wave? Can said sharks take down a polar bear if they land on an ice cap?
That'll be huge news.
What is the chance that we'll see it going down if the skies are clear?
Yeah, what's the weather going to be like that day?
It's going to be somewhere in the southern Pacific Ocean.
So yeah, I guess
that's NASA's plans.
I assume that means it's going to be nice and clear, as it always is on the beautiful Pacific. But if it's clear skies, you'll absolutely be able to see the streaking debris left by the vapor trails of the station. The same thing with Mir. I think if anybody remembers when the Soviets, or the Russians, I guess, deorbited Mir, and it went to the same exact place that Frankie was alluding to. That's kind of like the spacecraft graveyard in the Pacific Ocean. There's a point in the Pacific Ocean. There's a name for it. I can't remember what it is, but it is the point on the Earth that is farthest away from any point of land.
Interesting.
The last astronaut to go up in the space station, that'll be September 2030.
So that was Joe Stover, and people in Winnipeg might recognize him from the How Do You Do review on CKUW that comes on every Friday night. Anyone else have any questions for Frankie?
I'd like to circle back to what Joe said there about the spot in the Pacific. So what you're saying is that none of the coconut bra-clad hula grass skirt wearing hula girls would be able to see it. That's correct? It's farthest point from land?
They'll probably still be able to see it when it starts to re-enter the atmosphere, because we're still talking by the time it starts to re-enter, that's about 400,000 feet up. So you'll still, I would imagine, at some point around the Pacific, you'll be able to at least see the first bits of the breakup. But
the ignition.
Yeah, you'll be able to see that. As far as the hula girls, though, I don't know if I think they'll probably be out of luck if they're looking to try and catch a piece of a falling star. My
question is, Joe, where will I have to go to see coconut bikini-clad hula girls?
I've also been researching that very subject, and I'm no further on in getting any answers. But as soon as I do, I'll publish my research.
I'm guessing it's not somewhere out here in the Chilcotin Plateau.
Or in Churchill, Manitoba.
No. Frankie MacDonald, what videos did you make this week?
And the videos this week, I was talking about the video this week, me saying Litecoin once again. It's like Litecoin, that's another cryptocurrency.
How did you say it? What did it kind of sound like? Did you was
Litecoin.
Oh, it was like a yelling one. Litecoin. Oh, yeah, right. I love when you do those ones. Bitcoin.
Litecoin. What day did you do that on, Frankie? I think Litecoin went up a little bit this week.
Peter Galanko's
I think Litecoin went up this week. I don't know what day Frankie did that one on, but Frankie may have time that one. Not good.
One Litecoin that's $132.14 American.
Yeah, it was around 140 at the high this week, which is
that's around $168.25 Canadian.
Would this be a good one to invest in, Peter Galanko?
Litecoin is a good cryptocurrency. This past year, the highs were $200 to $300. So this 130 range is good. People sold, and it went down to like 119 when Bitcoin was dipping. And Litecoin is one of the earlier established cryptocurrencies, and it's called Litecoin because they tried to make theirs to be a little bit more efficient than the Bitcoin blockchain. Started by Charlie Lee, very famous in the blockchain space. It's a reliable, fast transaction blockchain based on the script algorithm, which is a different algorithm than the Bitcoin blockchain. And it's a good cryptocurrency. It's a fast, low fee cryptocurrency, which is something I find important because the Bitcoin blockchain is a little bit slower and high fees than some of the others out there. It has a good reputation.
Seems like one I could afford. What are the chances that it would go through the roof?
It's done pretty well this past year. I think Charlie Lee, the founder, he gets some criticism because back in 2017, when it reached its previous all-time highs, Charlie Lee publicized that he sold his Litecoins and went into regular money, and people criticized him for not being as hardcore about being fully into it as he could have been. But I think it's an early established one, and it's up there with name recognition with some of the leading ones like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So I think there's a good chance that in the next 5 years, it could go up to $1,000 or something like that.
So I don't know how much time we have with Joe Stover because usually we go to Brandon Houck second. I'm not sure how much time we have with Joe. He's babysitting in Winnipeg right now.
Not a terrible amount of time. So absolutely, I'll do my bit and then I'll vamoose. And I do want to say that it's an honor to take the captain's or the first mate's chair for Brandon's normal segment, but it's Winnipeg is nice today. It's we got a little bit of snow with the front that moved through. Winnipeg got about 8 centimeters of snow, I believe. That's what Rob Zobs was able to tell us. It's going to be followed, though, later tonight by a cold front, and it's supposed to move temperatures into the minus 20s overnight. It's going to stick around that temperature until tomorrow night, when it's going to start dipping down again to minus 30. So Winnipeg and southern Manitoba are in for another cold snap, it appears, and snow and cold has been basically the tenets of the southern Manitoba winter, and I'm sure I don't have to tell Brandon Houck about that.
We got questions for Joe Stover. What's going to be on your radio show this week? Which will already have passed by the time Winnipeg listeners listen to it, but maybe people on the YouTube show will start tuning in. We'll start putting CKUW or CFUR radio on their computer channel.
I hope they do. As far as CKUW goes, as of Friday, which is tomorrow as of the date of this recording, it's Fund Drive. It's CKUW's annual Fund Drive, and we've got 2 weeks of special programming, including this one, of course. And we're gunning for our main goal is we're looking for $60,000 over a 2-week period. It's we've come so close in years prior. So we've got some special shows lined up this week as far as my show goes, a How Do You Do review. Got a special show coming up this Friday, and next Friday also we'll have something special. So, I mean, I like to think of every show as special, but these two are when we put the boots to the ground and we get some support, much needed support for community radio, which can host shows like mine and host shows like yours, and that's across the country type thing, right? So that's what's happening with me and CKUW for the next 2 weeks.
So there you go, everyone. You can donate to CKUW by sending your money to Joey Only in Wells, BC. No, just kidding. All you have to do, CKUW, if you want to raise $10 million, is just start a GoFundMe called Freedom Radio. And people don't know enough to ask questions. They'll just be like, freedom, I like freedom.
Yeah, I mean, if it was so white, it's a tough one. It's I mean, I have my people who know me know I have my opinions on it, but I know that mine is not the only opinion that's out there. We live in a in a divided society right now. I'm not obviously a big fan of the reason for the protest. I'm all for people protesting. That's a core tenement in our democracy. I just am not a big fan of the people who hijacked the protests, like with the Nazi flags and the the arguments that don't hold any water.
Like the registered liberal voters.
I am all for.
You're talking about Tamara Lick, BJ Dichter, Chris Sky, Pat King. These people who are preaching a violent revolution, they're calling it, and they seem to have taken over this. Oh yeah, I've been watching the videos they're putting out. I'm not like paraphrasing what someone else said.
It's not my intent even to rip on the people that made the trek out to Ottawa with their
good intention. Maybe
the original intention was they didn't like the trucker mandates, the cross-border mandates, which of course is Canadian and American. So take that as you will. But when, like I said, once it started hijacking, like with the Chris Skies and the rest of that, and these groups that organize a protest, that you look at their mission statement and they want to topple the government in Canada, and then they're wondering why won't the Prime Minister meet with them? It's like, well, why would you ever meet with someone who's trying to
wants to shoot you?
Stage a coup? Give me a break. Give me a break.
So all you have to do, everybody, is donate to Freedom Radio, and there's people giving $60,000 checks out to that. Why can't someone donate $60,000 to CKUW, and then we don't have to talk about it for the next 2 weeks? We'll just be like, right on.
Exactly.
Mission accomplished.
2044-6877. We got people by the phone right now. Give them a call, or go to funddrive.ckuw.ca to see all the perks and incentives you'll get for making your donation to community radio and keeping us on the air. And that's my pitch.
Anyone have questions for Joe Stover before we go on to meteorologist extraordinaire Ben and Houck?
I guess not. But listen, I got to run, but it was sure nice to see all you guys. Pete, go Team USA in all the events that Canada don't have a chance of winning.
Oh, Canada is great in winter sports. So
this morning I got to watch China get destroyed on the ice. And Brandon Houck tells me that on the Chinese hockey team is a former Brooks Bandit hockey player from Brooks, Alberta. So there you go. Yep. Stranger things have happened.
That's right. Parker Fu. Look out for that name.
Oh, okay.
That's the most lackluster agreement ever. Okay. We will not.
Can we get you to say, Frankie, you're listening to CKUW 95.9?
What's energy here today?
I just like it if someone else said it for once other than me. If Frankie said, you're listening to CKUW 95.9.
That's a radio station.
Yeah, that's the station that...
Yeah, let's hear it, Frankie. You're listening to CKW 95.9.
CKUW 95.9.
At CFUR 88.7 FM. Brandon Houck, who works on 105.7, the big country radio station in Brooks, Alberta, the home of a Chinese Olympic hockey player. He's on a very... not a very good team, as a matter of fact. Not as good of a team as the Brooks Bandits seem to be.
Well, the Brooks Bandits were pretty good when he was on the team, actually, too. So there's that. But
a long time.
Yeah, Brooks Bandits under their winning streak here, 5 games, I guess. So yeah, we're almost to the playoffs. About a couple more weeks left of the regular season. So we're waiting for this one player here named TJ Hughes to get 60 goals. So he has about 2 weeks left, so time's ticking. He's got 56 goals so far.
He set the record at 50 already, and now he's trying to get to 60. What's been going on at the radio station? What's been going on with the weather? What's been going on with you? What should Winnipeg be looking forward to next week for weather? Why is it so warm in Western Canada? Why was it 12 degrees on me when I was up at 1,400 meters above sea level on a plateau? It should not be plus 12 on February the 9th. It shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be swimming in snow up to my waist. Soft, nasty, sticky snow sticking to my snowshoes. What's going on here? This is obviously wrong.
Hopefully I don't choke on popcorn here.
Well, you just got to go up to like Nunavut there, where they had wind chills this morning at minus 60 or colder. So
I'll have none of it.
You'll have none of that? Okay. No. Okay, good. Well, we have a fairly impressive ridge of high pressure over the west here, and that's keeping, the storm track right on the Alberta, right through Saskatchewan, Manitoba. We get clipper after clipper after clipper, and some folks in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, they're done with the snow. They're like, no more snow, make it stop. Meanwhile, in my backyard, I'm looking at brown grass, and that's all I have is brown grass after reaching 15 degrees at least 2 days in a row. Short sleeve shirts. It's, it feels like spring. The geese are here. The Canada geese are here. They're honking away. And I've seen a bee this week. I think I saw a fly. It's a crazy time.
Peeing and pooping all over the place and honking.
That's what they do, right? Yeah.
Terrifying.
I heard they took over Ottawa too.
Terrifying, man.
Defecating everywhere.
There's a flock of geese that lives a few blocks from me. And when I used to walk to work in the mornings, before I was like during the summer when I'm not driving around so much, I'd walk to work in the morning, and about 6:30, 7 in the morning, this flock of geese, they have a standard path they follow, and they would walk clear through this intersection. So every morning at the same time, I would see the stupid flock of geese jamming up traffic, and there'd be like 2 or 3 drivers trying to get to work. You can't go because there's like 20 of them, and they're huge. So there'd be people getting out of their cars, and I'm helping herd. So every morning I'd be herding geese across the road. Like, you got to carefully like get your arms all wide so you can like chase them slowly. And they're fearless. They outnumber us, and they have no fear.
Yeah. Need a goose call.
Yeah, we're basically asking them nicely. It's the most Canadian thing you'll ever see. Like a bunch of people, total strangers, helping each other to herd a flock of geese by politely asking them to get off the road.
Are you sure these were Canadian geese, Brandon? Like, did you ask them for a passport?
Yeah, they were. Oh! Yeah, they made the honking noise, just like a Canada geese.
Can you do that again?
Like, oh, 5 room in a row.
Eyebrows melt, man.
Going north and yelling, "You're going the wrong way, man!" Should talk about the windstorm this week too, because that was pretty intense, and I bet those Canada geese had some tough time flying in that. Wind gusts of 110 kilometers an hour. Southern Alberta on Monday. The strong Chinook winds. You got those westerly flow, pretty impressive westerly flow, and what generate those very warm temperatures that we've enjoyed for the week. But then you have those strong westerly winds downsloping on the other side of the Rockies. And it was a nice sunny day, but the wind was just howling, I tell you. Temperatures, as I mentioned, were up, and we had those wind gusts of at least 110 kilometers an hour. And we had some issues here in the Brooks area with the fairly strong winds. Not as bad as the other week. No houses ended up in the ditch this time around, but instead we had a get blown down from the co-op there. Knocked the canopy down, and then a Wi-Fi tower in Tilly got knocked down onto the power pole there. And, guys, I think friends in Tilly lost their Wi-Fi, so they're going to have to replace the ExploreNet Wi-Fi there in Tilly, Alberta, but that might power up for a couple hours. 2,000 people lost their power for a couple of hours in Brooks from the fairly strong winds that ripped through here on Monday. But then the nice weather stuck around well throughout the week. And then now as we go into today, we actually also had winds again today. Not as bad. We just had a strong north wind. We actually had raindrops today. So that was different. Yeah. couple raindrops hit me in the head, and that was about it. Most of the rain did evaporate, most of the showers that went through the area. And we even had some freezing rain issues in Saskatchewan and parts of northern Alberta earlier this morning, especially near Saskatoon. Some rough driving there this morning, that's for sure. And then we had a cold front go through, and that switched everything over to snow as it dropped its way through the south there. Now, we'll see our temperatures fall for Friday, the 11th. And then we warm back up for the weekend here across the prairie. So look, especially for Alberta and Western Saskatchewan, Manitoba, you're not going to warm up. No, you can forget about that as we go through the weekend into stages of next week. And then we'll see temperatures kind of do a bit of a roller coaster ride. So go up and go right back down again. And then there's a chance we might get some snow next week, but the chances of that is very, very low. It doesn't look like anything significant for us here in southern Alberta because it has gotten quite dry, very dry, almost dangerously dry. So we'll be monitoring those conditions, especially Highway 1 South. Central northern regions, the melt's been on, so that's allowing for some minor street flooding from this big time snow that they've had across central northern parts of the province over the last couple of weeks there. Then, as I mentioned, as we go in the next week, above average is the name of the game. Our average high for this time of year is -2. So we are way above it, but this time no records have been broken for us here in Brooks. Just a couple degrees off the records, and that would be about it for that.
Right. Frankie, how cold is it going to get in Winnipeg next week?
Very cold.
Very cold. It's not going to be cold in Prince George, though, for
Winnipeg.
people on CFUR 88.7 FM. 6 degrees on Saturday, -6 at night. Mix of sun and cloud Saturday, Sunday, cloudy maybe, high of 3, low of 0 at night. Not a big spread of temperatures there. We see a bit more of a spread on Monday, 4-degree high, -9. And we could see return to some flurries and activity like that, possibly some rain Tuesday, Wednesday, highs of 0 and then 3 on Wednesday, but -5 at night. So snow at nighttime, but possibly you might see some rain during the day. So, I mean, these are not February conditions in my opinion, but, I've seen a lot of years, and I mean, I've seen last year it got really extremely cold at the end of February. So, we just don't really know what winter could still yet do. But, that windstorm on Monday, Brandon, it chased me out of the forest. We pulled up. Well, we go to camp first and drop all our gear off. And then it's like 10:30 by the time we get into the bush. And then we're sitting there in the truck and watching trees coming down. And, the 3 younger members of our crew were like, well, what do you think we should do? I just kind of stayed quiet. I wanted to hear what they'd say. But basically, no, we shouldn't go in there right now. No, it's not a good idea. And then today, again, it picked up pretty strong. And I watched at least one tree come down in the block near me. So constant danger in British Columbia, whereas you might have in Alberta houses flying.
Well, I didn't see any houses flying off the road, off somebody's trailer this week. So that's a bonus. Nobody got hurt. And that's also a bonus as well from debris got flying in the air on Monday from that wild Chinook wind that blew through here. And it was nice and sunny though, nice and warm. So I could have walked out there, but walking into that window, my felt like I was gonna blow all the way to Saskatchewan. That's how strong that wind was.
Whoa, I almost lost my toque. It's like my favorite Brandon.
Toque.
How close.
I almost lost my hat. All right, Brandon, how out here to win? Almost lost my toque.
But I guess where we are on the plateau working, in some ways it's kind of like Alberta. It's a high country just behind a major mountain range. So we get kind of that sort of Chinooky sort of weather too. And then we get that orographic lift, though. Sometimes I watch the weather go right over us and go past Quesnel. And when I get to Wells, and I've heard it's been snowing, but we didn't get a whole lot in the plateau during the week. And then you get to Wells and there's like a fresh half meter or more. So that's what I did last weekend on my days off. I shoveled my roof. I shoveled my truck out. There was 75 centimeters of fresh. And I just got done rebuilding a chimney, if you recall, not 3 weeks ago. So, and then the snow all slid off. So that fresh 75 centimeters, I mean, it came over the course of a week last week. And that's Wells for. Anybody have questions for Brandon Houck?
How do you get your hair so fabulous?
Oh, I don't do anything at all. It just does it on its own.
Just has its own kind of wave to it. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
with that glorious color.
Well, sometimes it has a wave to it. Yeah.
With
And
that
for those of you
glorious
in
color, can you
Radioland-
style it like Fry from Futurama? Oh, we
Those
lost
of you in
him.
Radioland, Brandon has
Joey, are
very
you
red
there?
hair. Sorry,
Very red hair.
Glorious red hair. Yeah, and it's the color of like Fry from Futurama. So would you be willing to at some point style it with that big giant hair horn that he has with the 2 spikes on the front? Could you?
Well, I could try but this hair does not like being spiked and going straight, because probably 10 minutes later it says, it does its little curl again. Yeah.
Damn.
Your hair does what it does
When you
well.
die, leave it to science. Yeah, when you die, leave it to science. It'll be a haunted toupee. Whoever gets the hair plugs.
I got news for you. Trey Campbell's coming on 1 sec.
What?
Nice.
He's got red hair too.
That's true.
Who's that?
Trey Campbell in Houston,
What did I
Texas.
miss?
Trey Campbell from Houston, Texas is going to show up in a minute. He's got red hair as well, and he's also
Nice.
very, very funny. That's a funny man. Before Trey shows up, Imogen, Peter, who wants to go next? What do you got?
What do I got? Bucket of joy, man. I've been hitting this bong all night. Actually, it's a brand new bong. It was gifted by a friend. It's got like 3 different layers to the coloring there. This thing is pure goodness. It weighs a ton. It's really heavy. Dude,
Is that
gave
from
me that.
Shrek?
Pardon? And a big baggie of weed, which was right on the heels of another big baggie of weed that a friend gifted me. I love living in BC, man.
I know.
I helped him with some home with the project at his house, and he was just really excited about it and really stoked. So he gave me this bong he wasn't using anymore because he's got a pretty decent collection. So I'm walking on sunshine here. So
Hey, Joey, and did you hear about that? There's a lot of clowns and trolls out there.
Yeah, there is. A lot of clowns.
Clowns. Oh,
Clowns.
man.
There's one
right here.
Come back.
Hi, Trey. You made
Frankie. I made it.
Trey Campbell.
Hey.
He's got red hair, and it's curly like
Yeah.
Brandon. So we were just talking about red curly hair. And then Frankie says, Trey Campbell's coming on in 1 minute.
Yeah.
We're like, holy, it's the red, curly-haired, beautiful man show. Hi, Trey Campbell
Right.
down in Houston, Texas.
What it is? How you
This
doing?
week a year ago,
Covering.
Houston, Texas had a major cold snap in the ice storm and snowstorm caused a power outage for a while and water outage in Houston.
Yeah, we had another similar freeze last week, and my pipes have burst. So, yeah, it wasn't as bad as last year's freeze, but it was still bad enough to freeze up my pipes.
Oh,
So,
damn.
so I gotta get somebody to come fix them. Not looking forward to it.
That's
So,
a bummer, yeah.
But yeah,
I had to do that in December. All my PEX piping in the kitchen just poof.
yeah, mine kind of came apart, and so I think my stepdad's coming to fix it. I'm not real sure what's gonna happen, but hopefully he'll show up because I haven't had water in like 3 days, and
What have you been drinking?
it's not
then?
been good. I've had to turn it. I had some water bottles, and I turn it on just to brush my teeth, but that's it really.
Hurricane Ida is going to be the only retired named storm this last season. This April coming up, they're going to retire just Ida from 2021.
Oh, really?
Ida is the most destructive storm last hurricane season that hit New Orleans, damaged the abandoned building in New Orleans on August 29th, 2021.
I remember Hurricane Ida. That really there were still some RVs flipped over from that last time I went through Louisiana. So it was pretty bad, huh, Frankie?
It was really bad. Ida is going to be the only retired named storm from last season.
What kind of hurricane season is it going to be this year, Frankie?
Here comes the story of the hurricane.
It's going to be above average hurricane season. There's a possible El Nino going to develop later on this year in the Pacific. Warm waters of the Pacific that can increase typhoons in Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah, El Nino's.
It means
That's also
less
the
hurricanes
thing.
in Atlantic, more hurricanes in the Pacific, and more typhoons in Pacific, like Philippines, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, Vladivostok, Russia, Philippines, and all these places, Vietnam. Laos.
Where is Laos, Frankie?
It's in south of China. It's close to Thailand.
Is that a Maritime sweatshirt?
Maritime Hustler.
Maritime. That's cool, Frankie. How you been, Frankie? What have you been up to?
I'm doing great so far. Roger the Wild Child's taking this Sunday off because of the Super Bowl.
Yep, Super Bowl 56. Who's gonna win, Frankie?
The Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. I agree with you. I think the Rams are gonna win.
Who's gonna win tonight between Toronto playing in Calgary? It's a home game for Toronto, but they're playing in Calgary.
Flames!
I mean, it's not actually a home game for Toronto, but if you look in the audience, you would think it's a home game for Toronto.
Yeah, because they're the most valuable franchise, right?
Hey, Joey, and did you hear that you could bring Roger the Wild Child back on the Comedeorological Report?
Totally. Tell them to come on anytime. Anybody you think deserves to be on the show deserves to be on the show. So that's like the way it is. Oh my God, it's 4-1 Calgary. Woo-hoo-hoo! And don't get too excited, Brandon, because Toronto in the last 6 games has scored like 5 goals in the third period, then 4 goals in the third period, then 4 goals in the third period. This is entirely reasonable deficit based on Maple Leafs.
4 goals in the third period too. So
scoring 5 goals.
Where are they in the standings?
Well, the problem is that they're in the same division with Boston, who's got beat bad tonight, 6-0 by Carolina. Yeah. They're in the same division as Boston, Tampa Bay, Florida Panthers. So, I mean, it's like the Blue Jays in baseball. They got the worst bunch of teams to play against all the time, right? So Edmonton Oilers fans are making fun of me tonight. You know, like on Twitter, they're saying like, "Wow, Toronto hasn't won a series, and you have some success. You've been." I'm like, "What kind of success have you having, Oilers? You just fired your coach. You lose 13 out of 20 games. You're not a good team. So why are you making fun of us?"
Yeah,
you know, that's the thing is they have Edmonton doesn't have to play against quality teams in their division the same way Toronto does either, though. So it's like if Edmonton has no excuse for sucking so bad. They're in the division with Vancouver, Winnipeg.
They have like the best player in hockey too, don't they? Like the best player on earth, or like
Oilers fans will tell you that up and down. But I mean, if your team keeps coming in last, how long are you going to keep calling a guy the best player just because he's got the most points?
Yeah,
something's not going on right there. What have you been doing lately, Trey? Have you been putting podcasts out still? Are you working on radio? Keeping busy?
I've just been working on radio. I've been keeping busy. I've been doing a lot of drinking lately, which is bad. Don't do it.
Oh, buddy, no.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. But just working in radio, really. Like the other day, I was there for like 14 hours, and I'm at a new station now. I'm at 790, the sports talk station, same building, but
yes,
I moved from conservative talking points to sports talking points, so I'm happy. I'm really excited. Yeah, way better, no doubt.
What was that? Bill O'Reilly you had to produce?
I had to produce Sean Hannity. It was the worst. I heard so much about damn myclonial antibodies. I got so sick of it. Every day it was ask your doctor, do your own research, myclonial antibodies. Like, sucks. I gotta get to sports already, and I finally did, so I'm really excited.
That's great. That's worth 14 hours a day.
Yeah, no doubt. Not having to listen to that. So, but
stay with us and keep on the conversation. Anyone got any questions for Trey before we still haven't asked Peter Galanko how the weather is in Virginia Beach?
The weather has been much more mild than I was expecting. Last week's forecast was projecting more cold this week. So, like yesterday, I went to go for a drive and put on my jacket, and no jacket was needed. It's been pretty mild in the 50s in this next 7 days. Coming, we got 2 days with highs of 70 and then a few days with lows of 20s. But based on the way it's been, I think we're gonna have a pretty mild week ahead for the most part. Nothing too exciting as far as weather going on around here, and just finished watching the men's final for the half pipe of the Winter Olympics. That was pretty exciting.
So who won?
So one of the there was 3 or 4 different Japanese snowboarders in it, and 3 of them had the same last name. 2 of them were brothers, and one of them won, and I forget which of them, which his name was, but it was very impressive. And it was Shaun White's last ever competition, and he got 4th, just shy of the podium.
He didn't medal.
He holds the record for the most golds in that event, but he's 35 now. Most of the other competitors were from, like, I think the youngest was like 16 years old, and then there's one that was, then most others were like 20, 22 years old. So that was still impressive that he was a good decade older than everyone else there. But
we had
Shaun White.
We had Prince George BC gold medal winner in snowboarding, and I forget her name, but I'm trying to find out if her mother's single.
Yeah, really? You think she is? I hope so. I don't know. All these snowboarders are like, that Chloe Kim chick is like really young, and I feel kind of bad because she's like really young, but she's like 18 now, so I guess it's cool.
You feel kind of bad. You do want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
She was like really young, and I was like,
You're starting to feel old.
I watched hers too, though. She left in the women's half pipe event. None of the other ones really had a chance after her first run.
Yeah, she's like the best one, I think, right? Like in the world.
In the women's, she's by far.
Who was the one that got disqualified?
I don't know.
Russian athlete.
Yeah, the Russian athlete.
For the performance enhancing, whatever. I don't know.
What was he using?
I think they need to ease up with some of that performance enhancing stuff. If I had any say in it, they'd be able to
ease up on it. I think it should be a separate division, like the all steroid Olympics or whatever, the all steroid sports leagues. I'd love that.
Yeah, well,
I would too. I'd
great Saturday Night Live sketch.
And outside of anabolic steroids, there's a lot of banned substances like peptides and some other types of stuff that has a lot of like merit as far as physical health goes, but are banned because it enhances performance but aren't necessarily harmful. I think some of that stuff I'd like to see what could be done. There's no restrictions.
Our friend Ross Bagliotti, who's been on the show before, and I've been bugging him to come back on, and I thought he was going to come on tonight, but he's notoriously Ross. But he was had his gold medal taken from him in Nagano because he tested positive for marijuana. And then they lied at the time and said, well, I wasn't smoking weed. No, I was just around people who were smoking weed. And that's why I somehow got secondhand weed smoke. And which he'll tell you is a total lie, because Ross's new adventure, a business venture that he's been working really hard on, is he's producing a new brand of marijuana called Ross's Gold. And Ross's Gold, he's got several amazingly large greenhouses that he's building right now. The point being, though, is that in the end, marijuana was found not to be on the list of banned and controlled substances at the time. And therefore,
so he was okay.
He couldn't take his medal away. They had to give it back to him because, there's no. So they changed the law in IOC eventually. You can't be a pothead and win a gold medal.
That is dumb.
Such a low.
Yeah, that contradicts the whole purpose of the performance enhancing things. You can't argue that they won the gold just because they're smoking weed, but that's a great way to capitalize it on it. Ross's Gold, he created a brand out of that. That's clever.
Yeah, that makes sense now that you mentioned it. It didn't first. Took me a second to put 2 and 2 together, but now I get it. So.
Kind of like that Alaskan news reporter that quit her job live on air because she was reporting on some ordinances that she disagreed with. And she's like, you know what, I'm quitting. I owe this dispensary and just doing this now.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. I am a fan of hers. She's great. I remember that. She was like, as for this job, F it, I quit.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't have to be in news very long because she's like really pretty. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool. Now
So that's
I
why I
followed
talk
her
weather.
on Facebook, and yeah, no doubt, because nobody's gonna tell you to stop with weather.
Yeah,
Nobody's
they're
gonna
not
tell
going
you
to
stop
accuse me of
doing
being
that
pretty
with
much
weather.
either.
Well, I don't know. You gotta. You gotta. There's certain people might. You've got a target audience. So you don't. I don't know. Oh,
See,
I forgot what I was gonna say. But anyway,
because I got some red going on here too. Like, am I close enough that you and Brandon would consider me some sort of a cousin in the Red Brotherhood?
so yeah, we kind of look alike. We both have the same color eyes, I think, so we could pass. But yeah, I think it would work. I think people would believe. They'd just see 2 white dudes and be like, yeah, that makes sense. So,
You guys seem to be the kind that
I
would
think
get
it would work.
sunburns, which I don't really get much.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
April.
Like you're sitting at your kitchen table and the sun comes in the window for a minute, and then you're nearly on fire.
Yep. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Anybody see the book of Boba Fett last
I
night?
heard it was good.
It's good.
I heard it was good, but no, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
Imogen tells me that Futurama is coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back to Hulu. I just saw that.
But apparently John DiMaggio is not going to be on it, which is really tragic because he does like half the voices on the show. I think they only have like 2 male voice actors.
He's
Bender.
Yeah.
Yes, Bender. And Robot Santa.
Maybe they'll get somebody that sounds a lot like Bender. Hopefully.
It will be the same.
It definitely won't.
John DiMaggio was a really good fill-in for what's his pickle for Robot Santa. Why can't I remember so the original voice of Robot Santa was John Goodman. That was it. But due to scheduling conflict after the first episode was filmed, he wasn't able to continue to be Robot Santa. So John DiMaggio stepped in, but did a really killer job of doing that voice. Very sad.
That reminds me of I didn't know John Goodman did that.
Yeah, he was original Robot Santa.
He did a lot of voice acting toward around that time, right? Didn't he? He was in Monsters Incorporated as well.
Nice.
Yeah, he was
So,
the
Frankie,
voice of Mike.
What's better, Futurama or The Simpsons?
Both of them.
What's that?
Both of those shows.
Very diplomatic of you, Frankie.
Extremely diplomatic.
Frankie, what's a better show, Futurama or Family Guy?
Futurama.
Yeah, I agree. Family Guy's a bit too crude.
Right answer, Frankie.
It's like the dumbest humor.
Yeah.
Earlier seasons had their moments. Like there were a few times where I laughed my face off at Family Guy, but then it just kind of got into the routine. Like they had their equation and they fit their pattern, and it was just everything became so interchangeable.
Yeah.
It really, early on they actually had some writers paying attention. Wasn't always good, but they were there.
It just became kind of a gimmick after a while.
South Park has meaning, like the episodes are about something.
And
they got real plots. The Family Guy will just go off into a totally different, canned tangent of I don't know.
Continuity.
Take on Family Guy was really good. They did an episode that was just sort of ripping apart Family Guy. It was awesome.
Yeah, continuity is a sort of an issue for McFarland and all them. They don't really write for continuity. at least with South Park, there's still times where there's not a lot of continuity. Like they'll kill Kenny every episode, but at least it's more. That's more of yeah.
There's a moral.
I don't know
if
you heard, but what are the guys' names that make South Park? They just got a deal for making however many more episodes, $600 million.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it'll be on Paramount Plus. They'll make movies and they'll make more. They'll make more episodes. But
that'll be a ton of money too, because it's not like they spend a lot of money on animation.
Yeah, they don't spend any money on. Although it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better. Their animation style has gotten a lot better since the early.
Their first pilot episodes, they did use. They just cut pieces of paper, took photo of each frame.
I liked it better.
Stop motion. Yeah, it was true stop motion at the beginning.
Yeah. Those early South Park was some of the best. I like the guy who was stuck in 1996 and then just went 2 years forward, and just they're all like, how's he going to be able to handle the time difference? He's been in a coma for 2 years.
The soundtrack in his little captivity zoo cell. It was the song by Ace of Base, The Sign.
Yeah.
It was playing on repeat constantly.
Yeah.
He'd feel at home.
I saw the sign. Yeah. And then they were like, the Atlanta Falcons have made the Super Bowl. And he's like, what? And then he just starts breaking things. It was funny.
Back in art school, I did a film course, and part of it was animation. And we had, it was basically South Park style stop motion animation. And I had a lot of fun with it. I had a very simple storyline. Zakk Wylde and Batman go on a date, and the date is a little bit of chit chat. And then they walk through an empty area outside the city with a full lit moon to a secluded opening in an empty field to get it on. And then RoboCop shows up. RoboCop and Batman fight. Batman turns into bats, flies away. RoboCop gets Zakk Wylde. They get it on. And then we have some nice lighting effects over a moon. So
interesting. Zakk Wylde is Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist, right?
He is, or was, or whatever. Yeah, he's Black Label Society.
Yeah.
It was, but South Park was very much sort of the weird lumpy movements and sort of South Park style of motion capture. Like their style, their feel was definitely what I was going for in this weird love story.
Yeah, that makes sense. I figured.
Happy Valentine's Day, Trey.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
It'll be Valentine's Day in Winnipeg on CKUW 95.9 FM when they hear this. Time for one last question. The question is our children learning?
The answer is no.
No, I don't think so. They're learning, but not like anything useful, I would imagine.
It depends on who's learning them.
Yeah, who's teaching them. Well.
So before we go, because I see we're kind of getting close to the end of the thing here. The clock's running out. Quick weather update, because I realized I haven't said anything about the horrible weather here. Victoria, BC, for the next week: sun, cloudy, rainy, sunny, cloudy, rainy, cloudy, possibly rainy on Valentine's Day. Good luck to everyone. Ha ha ha. Go to hell with your tacky love. Last night we had brutal fog up in Shawnigan Lake, like thick enough that while I was driving, I turned a corner, literally went into a wall of fog, could not see the road, almost went off a cliff twice. Super fun adventure. Speed limit 60, I'm doing 20 so I don't die. Pickup trucks pulled over because of no visibility. A couple hours of that, and then boom, clear night. Rest of the week, sunny, cloudy, foggy, or not foggy, rainy, sunny, cloudy, rainy. Have fun.
I guess I won't say Happy Valentine's Day to you because you seem to be bitter towards the holiday. Happy Valentine's Day, Frankie MacDonald.
I'll say Happy Valentine's Day to all the listeners to the Comedeorological Report with Joey Only. And now my Twitter's at Frankie McD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Twitch is FrankieDell1984. My Clapper is FrankieDell1984. My TikTok is FrankieDell1984. My LinkedIn is FrankieDell. My Instagram is FrankieMcD1984. My Instagram is FrankieMcD1984. And my Snapchat is FrankieMACDON. And my YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves, aka Frankie MacDonald.
And I'm Joey Only. You can find the video version of this show if you want to see our beautiful and bizarre and loving faces. You can find that on Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude on YouTube. And if you are in the Winnipeg area or not, if you're hearing this anywhere and you want to donate some money to CKUW, please go to ckuw.ca and find out how to help with the fund drive. Keep listening, keep tuned in, keep supporting the radio station. And CFUR 88.7 FM, thank you very much. You're the one that got us a show off the ground. Always thankful for you. Tune into CFUR 88.7 FM all the time. Thanks, Brandon Houck, for coming on. Thanks, Trey Campbell, for coming on. Thanks, Peter Galanko down in Virginia Beach. Thank you, Imogen Cookie Bailey. Thank you, Frankie MacDonald. And thank you, Joe Stover, even though he's gone. He might probably hear this and know that I thanked him from the bottom of my heart that I have. Happy. I can't say.
Thanks,
I got nothing to be happy about. There's Valentine's Day. I'll be like starting a brand new logging block project, and I'll just be like hiking for hours, and just be like, all that'll matter is the birds chirping and the wind blowing. And I do find if you want freedom and you want peace, you just got to go to the forest because it lives there. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye for now.
Litecoin! All right, Brandon, how out here to win? We're almost lost by Houck.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.